of the testing process is always going to be present in exams like AILET and your autonomous exams. Plus, para summary questions can come really handy when we are solving our. Excuse me for 1 minute. ये इनको अपना आवाज थोड़ी देर तक सुन रहा है. So now, this para summary questions can also be really helpful when we are reading passages, because at the end of the day, whenever we are solving paragraphs or from RC or questions from RC, our method of reading and summarization of the whole passage can also help us in our RC process as well. So let's get started as to how we can solve questions of para summary. Initially, I'll teach you the method to read a paragraph, and then once you've learned the method to read a paragraph, it'll be easy for you to make a summary of the paragraph. And probably then the second step would be, see, once I make a summary, then I can either go with directly marking the answer, but the another trick that we can learn is that rather than going from the direct method, if we are confused with our summary, then we go and look at elimination of option choices. How we can eliminate option choices, we'll learn that also. Now, how to initially 5-10 minutes, I'll give you the fundamental of how we can go about understanding what para summary requires. See, a para summary a paragraph, obviously, a paragraph is going to be given to you, and we are asked to make a summary of this. So first and foremost, we need to understand that author in writing pattern of a paragraph will use certain methods of writing. Now, for example, the author usually in the first few lines might write an intro. That means the paragraph has an intro where the topic is given. And then probably after the intro, author tries a lot of explanations. He gives you an explanation to the paragraph, or he elaborates a paragraph. And then probably he exemplifies, and then probably he comes down to the conclusion of the paragraph. Now, this could be a very conventional method of writing a paragraph, that the author writes the intro, gives elaborations, explanations, and probably then comes down to the conclusion of the paragraph. Here we need to understand that whenever we are pointing towards a summary, examples will never become a part of the summary. We are not taking examples. Author has a main point to convey to us. Please understand this. He has a main point, and some points that he adds on to come down to the main point are called as subordinate points. Subordinate ideas are given in a paragraph, which all sum total together make up the main idea of the paragraph. So para summary is one question where you should not be missing the main idea. Like, for example, if I'm talking about global warming is the main idea of the author, and the subordinate idea is because of global warming, there is rise in the sea level. So now that's a subordinate idea, maybe talking about how global warming is happening in different places. He's explaining how global warming is impacting levels of the sea. So understand that's a subordinate idea. So please, in our reading process, the first thing we're going to set out into reading is that we go and find out what is the topic introduction. What does he do with the topic? The moment we identify the topic, then it will be our duty to go and find out that how does the author elaborate or build on that topic? How does he build on that topic? What is the method, whether he's using reasons or he's just elaborating and giving us details? Do you think when we're giving a gist of the paragraph or the summary of the paragraph, he's asking us to make a short note to it? Now, students, those who are really confused, I'll give you a very simple method. See, Just if the paragraph is very long and you're finding it difficult to summarize, you can even try this technique. You go and split the paragraph into randomly. Don't even think of it. Just do this. Don't randomly divide it into two portions, three portions, as per your comfort. See, if the paragraph is 200 words, then three portions. But if the paragraph is already 150 words, you can just divide it into two portions. Now read this and go and see and do a skimming. What we've learned in our RC classes, skimming would mean come down to the crux, come down to the main point by either by underlining or by keeping it in our mind by what is the idea that he perpetuates in the part one. Secondly, what does he say in the part two? And ignore all examples. Ignore all examples. And now here, see, now if you sieved out 7 to 10 words here and maybe 7 to 10 here, exactly on the same note, you made a summary of 30 words. So this can be an easy method for people, for students who are losing base in reading or they lose out on concentration. See, these 2-3 questions, wherever they're coming, we are going to get them as 100% correct. Reason one, because they're so easy, we have to just make the paragraph into a condensed form. Now, when we are making the paragraph in the condensed version, we are basically interested in having a nutshell story of it. So we'll ignore all the references, even if there is any kind of, if the total paragraph, now here, understand, I'm writing on computers. I'm talking in general about computers. In one of the lines, I give you examples of Microsoft and Google. I give you names of certain computer companies, not they become examples to support my point. But I'm writing a total paragraph on Microsoft, then that's not an example. That becomes the topic of the topic of the paragraph. So now you'll say, ma'am, here Microsoft name can come, but there when I'm talking about an example form, then that Microsoft can be eliminated as well. So the first simplest tool is I go and split my paragraph into 3 small brackets. Try and finding how he goes. It can go the reverse also. Author starts by, does not give the introduction in the beginning. He just starts by the conclusion and then comes on to the explanation of that conclusion. Or he starts with an example and then comes. So this 3-4 things can get their positions can change. Why might not have the intro in the beginning and there is no intro. There are just, the author starts with examples and then goes to elaborate those examples or explain them and finally comes down to the main point. So our reading process is going to lead us to 2 things. Whether what is the main point of the author, and the second thing is what is the subordinate idea of the author. Now, what can be our elimination? What can be the method of elimination? After we have done this skimming exercise, by underlining in each almost 7 to 10 words or thought groups, like what we were doing in skimming for our RC, if we have underlined this, so probably what will happen, we will have the nutshell of this part. Now, let's say this part had all examples, so nothing might come out, but this had some another point, so we can add on. After we have made this, we can easily realize, see, first thing, I split. Second thing would be, I've done the skimming. This is step 2. I've done the skimming. And step 3 would be, now I see what is the message he passes to me. The message becomes the main point, and how he reaches the main point is called as the subordinate idea. What are the subordinate points that he makes? So once I know the subordinate points, how he's building the passage is going to be very important, because we cannot even miss certain subordinate points, because summary has to be covering all the points. It should not be limited in scope. Now here, now a summary should not be, now what are the tools that we can use for elimination? Now the first one should be the basic. It should not be a partial summary. It should not talk about only a part. Let's say I split it into 1, 2, 3, and he covers point 1. See, again, I'm doing this diagram, and then I'll do it with the questions also. He misses on with the third point. It's not there. Only 1 and 2 were mentioned in reference. The third point, that means it's a partial answer. It's limited. It's partial or it's limited. Now, here some people will ask me, ki, ma'am, is it necessary ki order bhi wahi rahe? No. See, I can have the point 3 before the point 2 and point 2 before point 1, but please understand, it should not be like this. So here, this is another faulty thing. Idea of global warming was the author's main idea. Now, and the supporting idea or the subordinate idea was the effect of global warming by the rise of the sea levels. Or there is snow all around in Europe and the winter season is not ending, only as effect of the global warming. And he author talks about the causes and also is talking about effects. Now effects cannot precede the cause. So here some rule, subordinate idea or the subordinate or the support idea, subordinate idea cannot be presented as the main idea. Okay? Now let me explain this. In a movie, you have the hero and you have a person with a supporting role. Okay? Now let's imagine there is a person with the supporting role and there is a person with the main hero. The protagonist, the hero remains the hero and the support roles remain the support. You can't make the support role as the main role. Please understand, in a movie, there is Anupam Kher and there is Amitabh Bachchan. So the Amitabh Bachchan of the movie is the main idea. So the main idea should not be sidelined just because you wanted to highlight the subordinate idea. The support idea should not be presented as the main idea. So this is one more trick they do by, suppose the main idea was in point 3 and you highlighted so much point 1 and 2 and it became something, just the point 3 became a point of reference only. So it should not be incomplete, partial or limited in its scope. It should not be limited. It should not be the subordinate idea which is presented as the main idea. The third point now. Third is very interesting, and believe me, this is where lot of examiners would test a student's absorption skill, which is what happens is that while you are writing or the summary, they bring in this part by inserting, they insert a piece of information. Some information is inserted in the form of maybe info is inserted. Sometimes just a plain word is inserted. That means that is not mentioned by the author. They inserted a piece of information or just a plain. See, the paragraph was talking about social development for women. And there was only talking about how socially women need to be uplifted. And there is this one NGO which is doing great work in the upliftment of women. And then option choices talked about social development, but also said social and socio-economic development of women. Can you see here? I brought about a word which was not even discussed. So that means I inserted a word, just 1 minute. कैसे जाना मुझे पर बताना अभी तो मुझे कैसे बीच में पीसी पे जाने के लिए उनको पता नहीं है okay so प्रशांत ये लाइव चल रहा है जो स्टूडेंट्स की वो तो मुझे चैट नहीं दिख रहा ये तो मुझे कहीं देख नहीं दिख रहा मैं आंसर्स तो भी तो पढ़ पाऊंगी क्या रिस्पॉन्स आप इधर आ जाओ। Okay, thank you. Okay, now. So if you can see, the third point that we are highlighting through this is that there should not be any insert of word, or there should not be any insert of an idea. And the fourth point, which I'm trying to make to each one of you, and it's really going to help us a lot here. You cannot insert. Now, I'm constantly revising with you guys. You will not insert any point. You will not bring out any kind of subordinate idea and present it as the main idea. You will also be very careful that you don't bring any examples into being. And the fourth point that we really need to understand is it should not distort. It should not distort any. That means meaning of the line should not change. So that is one thing that they do there in option choices. They would try changing the meaning of the entire one line by bringing out a new, not a new idea, but the word orientation might change. And what they do is, with the change in the word orientation, the meaning of the paragraph absolutely goes for a toss. That means the perspective in being changes. I am just going to say one line to you to just explain you this concept of distortion and insert. Please see to this. Let's say such simple line is written, I lost my only purse. Now, if you can see here, the author says, I lost my only purse. Now, the question in context is that this person, I had only one purse, and that purse is also lost. That purse is also lost. Now, option choice will say, only I lost my purse. Have a look here. Only I lost my purse. I did two mistakes here. One is saying I inserted people as if there were some more people and they did not lose anything and I only lost. Suppose you guys were also there with me, but you did not lose anything, but I lost that purse. So which is clearly saying, which is clearly presenting to you that only I lost my purse is saying I inserted some people. Now look at it. I look at the next option. I only lost my purse. Now see here, as if I was having something else also. I was also having something else which I did not lose. Did I not change the meaning of the top line despite I am keeping all the four words similar? I changed the meaning by saying here that there were some more people with me who did not lose. And here I'm saying I had something else apart from the purse, maybe my laptop or a suitcase or some file, which I did not lose. I would not be. Now somebody is putting me a question that is there any offline target batch? I would really not know about this thing. See, best part for this, for your admin queries will be, I would only be able to inform you about the paper. And what are the offline target batches? I think we all can ask the respective center where we want to join. And so Mudit has given, refer to the numbers, he says, given in the description. So you can probably, wonderful, thank you Mudit, you can easily refer to the number that is given, and that will give you a fair idea whether there are new batches or not. So taking you back here, so do not ever link anything by changing the meaning. So here, look at this, I changed the meaning. I just changed the meaning. I distorted information. I inserted information. Both the examples are on the board where I have inserted some piece of information and I have changed the meaning. And another thing, I like to add on one more point here. See, sometimes what is happening is two things are happening, two causes are given, and there will be this fallacy, which we, again, we can look at it that we've learned this kind of fallacy in our critical reasoning classes, but how we can just understand this also. I'm writing one line to you. I need a summary of this line. I need you guys to give me the summary of this line. I am shifting my position so that you can read the board clearly. I'm reading for your convenience. The convict undergoing trial is facing problems like, we can also say is facing many problems. Is facing many problems like he is an alcoholic and is also affected by domestic conflicts. So any one of you, would you be able to tell me what is the, can you see subordinate ideas like problems described? But the convict is facing many problems, is the crux of the whole paragraph. Now, I'm going to make a bad summary. I'm showing you the bad summary. Oh, look at this. This is going to be my bad option choice. So I'm keeping the first line same only, is facing many problems. Till problems, the line remains same. Till here, it's same. Let's look at it. Would you be happy if I say this as my first choice? The convict undergoing trial is facing many problems because he is an alcoholic. What is the problem in this option choice? Okay. No, Siddharth, no. Can you see, I put all the problems of his life. The convict undergoing trial is facing many problems. I have put everything as on alcoholism. I have blamed that the problems in his life are because of, is very good. Tanmay, Tamanna, very good. Making a Mudit is wow. This is what I did, is distortion in the form of weighted cause and effect. But the author never said cause effect. Author never said cause effect. So this is wrong because he's an alcoholic. This is not true. So can you see distortion in the form of information change? Now let's say this was the first choice, and the second choice said, it's all right, he's alcoholic, the वापस आ गया. Here it's still here, it's okay. And is also now evaluate for me this option. All of you evaluate this option for me. and is also plagued by domestic conflicts? Yes, Anchal, you're perfect, bete. Daksh, very good, very good. Look at my second choice, and alcohol tak same aa gaya. Problems like he's an alcoholic and is also plagued by domestic conflicts. Ab isme kya problem ho gaya? Is this okay? Is this okay? No. Here I changed. Look at it. What I did. A bad choice where I changed not only cause effect, but I changed the tone. I changed the tone. Did you all get this when I say I changed the tone? Because affected is that he had some effect. Because of also it makes incorrect, it is yes. So this is wrong here because it's also plagued by domestic conflicts is wrong because I'm changing. So the summary should not change the tone. Plagued is wrong. Very good, Ria, because it changes the tone. So I cannot make the tone very harsh. Author did not use harsh tone, but my answer choice had a very harsh tone, and it can't go other way around also. If the author has used a harsh tone, then I cannot bring a mild tone. So I'll have to be very careful with the kind of word that the author uses. If the author uses a strong word, my summary will carry the same strong word. But if the author is using mild, softer words, then my summary will not carry excessively harsh words. So if you can see, tone should not change, cause effect should not be there, distortion should not be there while I'm changing the meaning only, or I am bringing some new factors, new ideas. I can also not change the fact. Sometimes they distort the fact. Yes, plugged is very extreme, Siddharth. You're very right. Acha, and third choice, and is affected by domestic violence. अब देखो थर्ड वाला देखो. Alcohol tak same aa gaya upar. The convict undergoing trial is facing many problems like he is an alcoholic and is affected. Wahan tak sab same aa gaya. Ab and is affected by domestic. Yes, no distorted but inserted. See, I self assume conflicts are violence. I don't know. Again, I brought a strong word. I don't know whether it is violence or is it what is conflict? What are the kind of conflicts that the paragraph never mentions? Yes, wrong word. Self assuming. A lot of times the reader's information comes in the summary, but we are not the ones. We are making the paragraph short, but we cannot change. See, you understand, a summary question wants you to get into the author's shoes and condense the paragraph. उस paragraph को हमें छोटा करना है by keeping the crux, by keeping the, and we are coming down to a skeleton. Yes, maybe he's doing violence now. Siddharth, we don't know, bete. What information is affected by domestic conflicts? Conflicts may be what? It could be disagreement or might be some problems with views not matching. We don't know. No, we are till here we are keeping certain things same. Okay, I'm bringing the questions to you. You've understood all kinds of 6 to 7 in bad choices. We are now quickly moving our attention to the PPT, and we are now solving the questions. Okay. So I would like you to see here. Answers become immaterial for me. Most important thing would be that you know how to make. What are the points that you gather? So for the first paragraph, I am going to hypothetically divide that paragraph into 3 zones. Okay. So let's go. I hope you can read the paragraph. I want the main idea of the paragraph. That's my concern. I want the main idea. What is the main idea that the author wants you to know? Doing the summary questions, our main idea questions in RC will also improve because we'll know to skim out the main idea through the group of thoughts that the author presents. Okay. So if I were to ask you to fix for me just 4 words, 4 words that I want you to fix. I don't want the answer. Please, all of you, please. I told you I don't want the answer. Tell me if I were to ask you to fix 4 words, please, no answers. Diversity are of different types. Okay, but diversity, एक बार ध्यान से देखिए. When here's the topic, diversity. All too often we tend to think of most obvious groups. Okay, and diversity that people divide into, we tend to think about race, gender, all this is going on elaboration, religious, lifestyle preferences, differences, education level, so many more factors that can be. So if we really look at it, diversity, which is, and different types of diversity exists in society. ठीक है, यही था crux. बाकी सब reference, diversity is more than what we think. Not more than what we think. ये अपने comparison author ने किया ही. अब tend to think of the most obvious groups of diversity that people divide into and look at one choice. I like all of you to please focus on your choice A. Race, gender and age are the most prevalent. ऐसा बोला क्या? But he said these are most obvious groups, but not these are most prevalent. Unnecessary giving more weightage and highlighting, making it too extreme a choice. तो ये तो यहाँ गया. ठीक है, ये यहाँ चला गया. अब C Calcutta एक बार हम evaluate करते हैं. We can find a great variety of diversity in society. B, okay, I'm keeping. It is difficult to say what are the basis of diversity, but he's given us the basis. He's talking about race, gender, all blah 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 blah. So he's given us the basis. So why is it difficult to say? Unnecessarily, this is gone. Diversity is not based on visual standpoints alone. Look at the limited scope and off the mark summary. Bases are listed in the passage. Yeah? So D is so partial, it does not, and 100% correct. We can find a great variety of diversity in society, often transit. Or ye dekho. Look at the subordinate idea. Coming from where? Coming from where? Look at it where he says. To think of the most obvious groups, diversity that people divide into, we tend to think about this, lifestyle preferences, education levels. Diversity can be based on position held, company computer, literacy, where people live, whether they're single, married, widowed, or divorced, have children or childless, and 4 factors that cannot be seen physically. ये देखो subordinate idea. देखो हमने underline किया और सारा आ गया. Clear? I'm taking you to the next question. चलो, do this now. इसमें मुझे I want you to give me. I just want you to, if you were to give me a squeezed title of this paragraph, give me a title. I'm changing the question. Give me a title. मैं तो कुछ अंडरलाइन कर रही हूँ. Will this be okay? आप चेक करो. I'm doing it right. Institutional Taliban or the radicalized elements. ठीक है, दोनों में से एक कोई भी ले लो. Main idea who exist. These exist in Pakistan's military, civil and judicial establishments. ठीक है, ठीक है. और नीचे फिर सारा. Will you be happy if I say this? तमन्ना, I am using बेटे, मेरा तो बिल्कुल, बाकी लोग तो नहीं कह रहे हैं. आप एक बार अपना ही लेवल पे चेक कर लो. ठीक है, ये ठीक, मैंने ठीक किया है. बाकी नीचे वाला एलिमेंट सब क्या कह रहे हैं? सब एग्जाम्पल्स हैं. किसके? मिलिट्री में प्रेजेंट हैं ये इंस्टीट्यूशनल तालिबान. रेडिकल्स प्रेजेंट है आर्मी में, मिलिट्री में, सिविल में और जुडिशियल एस्टेब्लिशमेंट में. मैं अब सब पढ़ रही हूँ एग्जाम्पल्स. Talibanization of Pakistan, 9/11 to 26/11. Journalist Amir Mir has written of the work of Tablighi Jamaat, whose headquarters in Rawalpindi adjoin Mr. Sharif's family estate. It was former military leader Ziaul Haq who encouraged the Tablighis. Dekh lo, it is present in Tablighis. Clear? So now, yes, probably the session might be saved. So can we just go elimination now quickly? वो देखो, हमने अपना क्रक्स कर लिया, ये एग्जाम्पल्स कर लिए. तो आगे लेट्स गो नाउ. Ziaul Haq, a former military leader, started this. This is a fact. This is not, and this is limited also. See, it's a limited part. It's just not carrying the main idea. It's a fact which was supporting the idea. It's not. I think my B is also wrong. The Tablighi Jamaat is the most powerful. We can't say which one is the most powerful, but they are existing. So this becomes an extreme. There was no comparison. This goes. There are many Talibans operating in Pakistan. And this seems like an answer. Don't you see C can be? But what is C doing? Please have a look here. This can be, please, all of you pay a lot of attention to your C option choice. जैसे answer जैसा लग रहा है, ये बेटे is an inference. कहाँ से infer है? 100% true from the top 2-3 lines. यहाँ से अगर question होता what can be inferred, तो हम कह सकते हैं there are many Talibans operating in Pakistan. But this is not the summary. Yes. अब देखो, Aryan, you got trapped into C बेटे because C was an infer. What is understood? But छोटा तो नहीं किया तुमने उसका interpretation दे दिया. Very, Aryan, ये तुम्हारा जो C किया तुमने, ये तुमने किया है inference. Or answer is D. Radical elements are embedded in the establishments. Establishment में कौन से? Civil, military, judicial. D, Delhi. Very good. I'm moving my C is not a speculation because C is talking about an infer. It's not a speculation. You can easily see here. Not even Washington or in New Delhi likes to speak of the institutional exist in this. So there are many Talibans. Answers D. Wow, very good. A lot of you got that right. But the trap was set for you in the C. Next question. I'll teach you 3-4 and then we'll go fast as finger ताकि हम बहुत सारे कर लें. Okay, अभी third मेरे साथ. So all of us suffer from stress. ठीक है, ये तो एक बात general sweeping statement हो गया. But वो क्या कह रहे हैं? Or which have a measurable impact on our performance. It has an impact on performance, attention span, and even health. Stress can cause mental as well as physical illness, which lowers the overall productivity of employees in the workplace. बेटे अब मैं रुक रही हूँ और तुमसे ये पूछ रही हूँ कि सेंट्रल आइडिया क्या है, क्या ये जेनेरिक अबाउट स्ट्रेस है या क्या ये स्ट्रेस ऑफ एन एम्प्लॉय है, बताओ. इज इट जनरल अबाउट स्ट्रेस फॉर एनीबडी और इज द मेन आइडिया अबाउट एम्प्लॉयज? Yes, very good, Mudit. Employers, it's basically this is the can cause mental as well. Now see, employment cannot work efficiently. Employees cannot work. Employees cannot work comfortable, work efficiently under stress. Now this is like putting a blame on them. This is too limited, bad in writing. And let's all look at C also. It's beside making employees comfortable at work will improve efficiency. This is more like a suggestion given. We are not giving a suggestion that this is a problem cited and we start giving a suggestion. The emotional well-being of employees is very important. Now that's absolutely a sweeping statement or a general statement. Answers B, Bombay. Wow, very good. Wow. Many factors can cause stress. The causes of the stress to the employee to the detriment of their job and eventually affecting their employment as a whole. That's the central idea. Very good. I'm moving further. Chalo, next. अब मेरा काम खत्म. My role is over and we're doing 5 questions and I am doing it with timer. So तुम फटाफट fastest. I will open these questions for 1 minute, 20 seconds और फिर next आ जाएगा. तो हम 5 questions अगले फटाफट करेंगे in the next 7 minutes. ठीक है? Everybody is okay? ठीक है? I'm starting. Yes, first was B. Udit, first was B. You're absolutely okay. So let's start now. This is your first question, and I am going to preferably give you 1 minute time. बस तुम आंसर लिख के रख लो, फिर in the end we will discuss all the 5 questions. आंसर लिख लो बस. Okay, next one. Next one. These are 5 easy I'm discussing, then I'll give you 5 tough also. First I discuss the 5 easy ताकि process आ जाए और फिर then I'll discuss the 5 difficult. चलो next. Next. 6th question. चलो next. Okay, next. एक और कर लेते हैं नेक्स्ट करके, चलो लास्ट क्वेश्चन है, उसके बाद we start with the discussion process. Okay. Okay, that's all. We starting with the question 9, with the discussion of question 9. So all of you look at question 9 now, clearly talking about, all of you did all the questions. First of all, I want to know that all of you have done all the questions. If yes, then that's amazing. You solved about 6 questions in 3 minutes of time. And probably some of you were asking me next. So it's come like, if these questions come, you'll be able to do it in 2 minutes. That's so nice. It's so nice. Now we'll be focusing on what is our accuracy. Let's go quickly. For your 9th question, if you can see, he clearly talks about the recent move by Infosys promoters and their families to offload sizable stakes in the company. That's what he says. And he says here, has triggered mostly adverse reactions. That has triggered. It has triggered adverse reactions from investors. Many seem to see the move as a dark foreboding that the business is in terminal decline. Some of them do not have any official promoters at all, he says. So that means there is nothing unique about offloading of stakes by Infosys promoters. Now, if you can just see here, I'm going to look at first. See Calcutta देख रही हूँ पहले मैं. Most importantly, C में बता दो क्या गलती है. It's not the answer, but tell me what is the error in C. What is the error in C? The percentage of promoter holding does not contribute much to the success. Can you see the distortion? That's a distort. Companies with lower nil promoter holdings can also flourish. So clearly says this is distortion. Clearly, this is that distort what I taught you. And my question answer choice D is also wrong. Can we all look at it? Is not the center rumor or afloat is that Infosys. This is just a support idea, and not even a support. It was not even that big a support idea also. So this goes. These two are gone. The success of companies does not depend on promoter holding. Ye dekho. That means it depends on something else. This word was wrong here. So answer becomes A. 9th is A. Clear? All of you are okay with the idea? 9 is A. Okay, I'm going backward now. For your 8th one, if you can see, clearly says, the paragraph says that the Indian national highways, they account for less than 3% of the total network. Okay? Less than 3% of the total network. But carry 40% of all the cargoes. Can you see here? Account for less than 3%, but carry almost like 40% of all the cargo. The normal distance covered by trucks is this much, while the international norm is 600 to 800. But so here, can you see all the paragraph is talking about the it practically talks about the inadequacy. Central idea is inadequate infrastructure. If I were to say, it was the inadequacy of the infrastructure. Now अगर मैंने ये कहा बेटा ये wrong हो जाएगा, क्यों? इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में कौन सा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर? टू ट्रांसपोर्ट, ये तो बोलना पड़ेगा, और यही मेरा आंसर होगा, ट्रांसपोर्ट गुड्स. That is what he's talking about when he compares it with the international norms. So ab, can I just have a look at my answer choices? Now if you really look at my answer choice for the 8th one, answer will be D. Adequate to transport goods by road. देखो मैंने यही करा. And now have a look at your option A is only a support idea. High traffic volumes on India often lead to delays. This is new idea also, delays. This is new idea. India's attempts to catch up with developed countries in developing its highways have not been successful. This is too biased and extreme viewpoint. For the growth of the nation, its national highways should be, so it's just a generic line. It's just so much a general line. So C was out, is a general and does not, it's just a general line. What should the country do? So here answers D. I'm going backward again, 7th one. Now, if you look at the 7th one, answer is, first I like to discuss the answer is C. Acha, location is mentioned as just a, it's just location. Can you see it's just a support point? Where are they located? Is that the crux? Where is the Pakistani Taliban located? That's not the issue he's discussing. Who are these people? Not where are they located. The issue was not of where, but let us look at the Pakistani Taliban, a militant organization that has claimed responsibility for a deadly attack on the school. Okay, then he describes the extremist group is made up of fighters who largely have been based in North Waziristan. They have been battling government troops in Northwest, this and this. Taliban did not officially form until as the umbrella organization that indulged various militant factions. Which of the following question does the passage answer? Who are the Pakistani? This, not this. And look at my D. So what is the present form? This is present, we don't. Off the mark. ये सबसे खराब तो off the mark था, ये तो गया बेटे. What led to the formation of Pakistani Taliban? The reason for the formation of Pakistan is beyond. We don't know. The reason is not even given. So this goes. Fight was between A and C, and if you fought well, then C should be your answer. Great. If you got this right, wow. You're given a title also. So you're learning the title also. Now, answer to the 6th is C. A is absolutely half an answer. What we said as partial. It's partial, limited. Are you catching out this? And look, transacting online is risky. This is insert and beyond the paragraph. It's insert hai hi nahi yaar ye wali baat. So this is insert. अगर आपने इसको space पे eliminate किया बेटे, ये very good है. अगर आप ये कर पाए हो, तो A गया है, D चला गया है. अब answer, besides the computer, your mobile phone is also the target for hackers, and that's not the main idea. This is again, this is the subordinate. This is not the main idea. No main idea. So answer becomes C, Calcutta. Next question. Okay, now these are series of instructions that are given. Try to make your answer attractive. Examiners are this and this. So here answer is students should pay attention to the arrangement and wording of their answers. Okay, so that's there. Now please have a look here. D was students should bring their knowledge into answers. This was beyond, off the mark. That's absolutely off the mark, bete. Students should write their answers succinctly. That's just, it's basically giving like a suggestion that they should go very short and to the point, but that's not what the paragraph was saying. Only one point. That's only one point, bicche. Aur wo dekho kahan hai. Answer it immediately in that sentence and proceed to explain afterwards. Within limits, it's permissible and often desirable. तो ये तो बहुत ज़्यादा limited है. It's 1 point. And A you can easily eliminate while paying attention. Content should not be. But the process of subdivision should not be pushed too far. An answer that is excessively divided may give an unpleasant impression that the candidate has simply learned or crammed grammar or correspondence course by heart. So contents was not. So answer becomes B Bombay. Next one. ये आसान था. Fourth is the easy one. B and C both were both partials. I'm not reading the paragraph. I'm just providing you with the answer so that and the answer is A. D is not a summary. It's not proper. बिल्कुल गलत. It's not a summary. How many of you have got almost like we did 6 questions? बेटे कितने ठीक हो गए हैं? 6. I have given you 6. We started with 4 and went on till 9. Five on 6. Oh wow, Mudit, that's great. 4 on 6 थोड़ा खराब है. मुझे इतना अच्छा नहीं लग रहा. 5 is very encouraging. अब last 3 questions I'm giving you and we go zoom with them. Okay? चलो, let's try our hand. अब मैं थोड़ा time बढ़ाऊंगी. अब थोड़ा difficult level भी बढ़ा रही हूँ. चलो. Just 1 minute. Okay, I'm shifting. चलूं आगे चलूं last question with the last bus, and I won't trouble you after this. Last bus. Okay, chalo, let's start. It done. Everybody is okay. Can I begin? Another 30 seconds to complete. And it's amazing. I'm really liking the speed with which you guys have done. पहले आपने 6 questions किए, अभी 4-5 और कर दिए. And see, not even in 10 minutes we are able to do so many questions. I'm so happy. I hope the process everybody is understood कि कैसे करना है. Okay, wow, very good. Chalo, let's start. We'll start from the 15th one, which is there on the screen. Okay, for your 15th question, if you can say, if we can just see for the 15th one, he's talking about most Indians have come to regard inflation as an evil in itself. I'll just take another 3-4 minutes and then it's going to be done. Market experts often exhort the Reserve Bank of India to slay the inflation monster. So if you look at it, the crux is saying falling inflation can have a negative side also. First is inflation as an evil in itself, but falling inflation rates can lead to a fall in income growth. Low inflation isn't the reason to party for corporate India either. ठीक है? ये clear बात यहाँ पे आई. So low inflation regime, slower income growth may prompt consumer to actively resist such price this and this. So now, if you can just see here, A was limited. A was limited, yes, falling inflation can be disastrous. That's absolutely limited. And answer is C. Caption for the paragraph above. Nasty side to falling inflation. Nasty side to falling inflation. And fourth, India doesn't particularly welcome. So look at it. Distort. Absolute distort. Yahi close choice thi. This is absolute distortion. And can we all look at one is a falling and can be disastrous for Indian economy. Can you see the sweeping? See now, let me just for final word on sweeping. See now, for example, I go to a town X and just for 1 or 2 hours, I am roaming in town X. And in this 2 hours, whatever people I see, they're all youngsters in the age group of 20 to 25. And then I make a sweeping statement that town X has only young people staying here. Isn't it? I just for a limited only. Can you see here? Falling inflation can be disastrous for Indian economy. Where did he say such kind of a thing? Isn't it a sweeping statement that you're making? That town X is only young people. This is a town full of only young people. That's such a sweeping. By just looking at some factor, I bring something into being. Caption must be short. Short की बात ही नहीं है. ऐसा नहीं है कि उसमें 7 words और इसमें 5 हैं. That's not the option. But this is justifying the whole thing. See, 2 more questions you understand by this. One is the main idea. Also, you understand how to make a title to the paragraph. I'm going backward. Okay, now. Okay, for here now. What we're talking about the 14th question. So if you really, now I'm giving you the answer to the 14th question. If you all can just see this. My 14th question answer was the established political, I missed one. I mean, so he clearly, the established political format which evolved with the Keynesian model of the mixed economy was one wherein the state donned welfareistic robes and presented itself as committed to such populistic ideologies as socialism. Can you just see here? And then he says, over the years, there have been monumental changes in the economic paradigm, which is directly opposed to the Keynesian welfare state. The former politics could not keep pace with the changes and persisted here. अब ये too extreme with tone है. A is wrong. Tone change. It could not adhere to the same set of ideologies does not mean degenerated. ठीक है बेटे, ये चला गया. The concept of the Keynesian welfare state has always been a chimera. We don't know if this is blame. अभी तो मैंने कहा था last वाले थोड़े अच्छे हैं क्योंकि सारे fallacies आ रही हैं. The prevailing political culture in India lacks direction. We are not talking about any political culture. बच्चा answers detail. ये अगर ठीक हुए, amazing है. मैं उन लोगों के लिए clap कर रही हूँ जिनका ठीक हो गया. This is amazing. अगर ये भी ठीक हो गया. यस वेरी, दक्ष ने बहुत अच्छा मुझे आंसर बोल दिया कि मैम ये इंडिया तो दिया ही नहीं है, देखो। वेरी गुड दक्ष, दैट्स अ ग्रेट ऑब्जर्वेशन, वेरी गुड दक्ष। चलो जी आगे जा रहे हैं। अब न्यूयॉर्क वाले में ये आसान है, एक इजी भी दिया मैंने तुम्हें। आंसर इज अगेन फोर्थ, आंसर इज अगेन फोर्थ। Clear है? This is it clear? Answer to this is fourth. Why it is fourth? Now I'm going to give you justification also. See, isn't the paragraph talking about the universe? It talks about in New York minority children. Minority children are disproportionate. He clearly says, because there is no reference in the paragraph to the causes of. There is nothing as a reference to the root causes of racial disparity. ये तो था ही, ठीक है? The A is gone there. A is absolutely lost there. As other problems, कोई ये बात बोला नहीं. Discrimination against minority children is one of the major problems. Other problems are not discussed. This is also insert. New York public schools deny that is too extreme an answer, and Ford does that properly. ठीक है? Ford does that properly. So deny educational opportunities. This is not an easy problem वो कह रहा है, but problems we don't know. Insert. Problems we don't know. ठीक है? चलो आगे. ये आसान था, ये वाला आसान था because it's talking about hypothetical situation. Just imagine what would happen if the capital of Karnataka were to move to Belgaum. ठीक है? अगर ये था, so then if you see, इसमें one अगर तुमने पकड़ना है तो ये distort है बेटे, ये पूरा one distort है. बस we are discussing the last question. I'm so sorry, I have just got to know कि you have another session. One's a distortion. Then look at B Bombay, redistribution of wealth. That is not there. Redistribution of wealth only on urban growth. That is grown. The paragraph talks about that. So answer to this is two is beyond. This is beyond the paragraph mark, only off the mark. And Indian major metros require decongestion immediately. That's absolutely not there. How many of you this time have got these questions right? अब कितने ठीक है? This Siddak is wow, Siddak. Yeah. I want to do this for you guys. No, they're telling me, giving me signals ki band karo. Right? Okay, 3 out of 4. That's a great number. That's a great number. Wow. 3 on 4 is a great number for people, those who've got 3. I'm ending the session because they're giving me signals that you have another session on the same link. That's all for the day. Stay blessed and stay happy. Koi bhi doubt ho? 3 on 4 is a great one, Siddharth. Anybody, all 4 correct? But 3 on 4 is good. That means the process of understanding and elimination is clear for everybody. That was what the class was intended. Saturday, probably we're going to have a vocab session. Again, I'd like to see all of you there for the session. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Ria, Ananya. Bye. That's all. And I'm ending the session now.